And so we've spoken about the dedication that's required to become a grandmaster. It's not a plan, as you say. You didn't set out at a young age to become a grandmaster. Some maybe do, but normally you become on the way to becoming a grandmaster. It's realized. So would you say then it's also the responsibility of a grandmaster to evolve the system that they're in and not to keep it as a 300, 400, 500-year-old system exactly as it was trained?
I mean, the first is what you have to know is a grandmaster have his system. It is a system of this grandmaster. Grandmaster cannot just. I mean, if you are a grandmaster for a long time and you have helpers, and these helpers are grandmaster as well, could be possible as whatever a group of grandmasters you spread a system. But if you have another organization, if you are in another organization and you are a grandmaster, of course, your system cannot be the same system like another system or the system you learned. It should be another thing. And my way was to, because of a lot of conversations with my grandmaster Lenting this time, I started in Germany under Kernspech until he went away. I did not understand anymore a way which is leading people to start Wing Chun. They never would start martial art in their whole life. They started because it was not. They don't need effort. They don't need effort. They just train some things and they get a degree. And then I realized that it is not my way anymore. And I met Grandmaster Lenting in San Francisco, and this time so we spoke a lot. And then I realized how much his system changed. And we spoke about the past, what was the system in the past. And so I studied some of the Chinese characters to actually find out what the technique means. And I changed a lot, and that was the hardest time of my life, I would say. That was some years up to 2003. I would say it starts 98, 99 up to 2003 was the most interesting time of my life because I developed a completely new system by cutting everything in parts and put it together again, renew. So every technique, every section what I taught was just my new section, my new technique. And so I developed a completely new system with the idea that would be an improvement of the past. You know, some say, for example, in the past they did this. Of course, the past is the past. We need an improvement. We need a development. And I wanted to do it better because I know what they did. I know what I wanted to reach, and I went my way. And it was hard because the first 1 or 2 years I tried a lot. So I had to try, and some techniques were not good, and some were good. And then I have to select and put the good ones together, and develop the complete system from technique to technique, defending and attacking technique, new. And the next step was the sections. That was a hard step because the sections should be a complete explanation of what technique you learn, how to use it, and how to defend it in the same way. But both are very important, not just defending it, using the technique. And if you learn the technique and you learn it in the perfect way, and you would have to defend yourself with your technique, it would be almost impossible to defend it. That is what I mean. And so you have to develop an absolute accurate defending system. And defending is not yielding and taking the power of your opponent. You have to stop something. You have to block it. Let's say block it. Blocks and attacks. Because our defense is actually an attack against the attack, which is a block. You have to stop it, completely stop it. And not just stop it, and not just stop it, bring the opponent in a position he have a problem.
Mm.
You know, if you just would stop it, he could develop something new. But you have even to interrupt this
idea, this future
idea, yeah.
thing.
So, and that was the hardest time. I would say the first 2 years were pretty hard because you sit down and sometimes you cannot sleep for weeks, because you are with a technique, like a defending technique, and I think, okay, this is not right. The angle is not right. This is not right. That is not right. And luckily, I had a lot of very, very good technicians, and I always forced them to attack me real, So, no, I'm not nice because I'm your trainer. Attack me how fast you can and how strong you can, because I wanted to find out if it works or not. And so I could find out a lot in this time, and I'm very happy that I had these guys in this time. Some guys went some other ways; they stopped training or whatever. I don't know what happens in all this in all these years, but luckily we have some guys. One guy, especially Sifu, he followed me since the first time. But we was a team of 10 to 15 really good technicians in US, in Germany, and we had a good time for this development. We had a good time to. They were ready to change things. When I came over and said, "Okay, guys, we have to stop this. We have to do it in this way." Okay, they just said, "Okay," because development is not. I like to do this because I did it all the time. Development is. I agree that I have to change if it is better. And
It's that will and the open mind, right? A lot say they want to come along, try it out, and to change what they've done in the past, but it's difficult to let go of what you've already learned. So,
but it's so nice if you can just follow your teacher and his improvement. You can say, okay, he learned something new now. He found something out. Let's follow. It's cool. And if you realize it works and it is better, I mean, no question.
We were exactly the same, Sifu. You remember in 2006? I remember the first seminar you came over when we switched from the EWTO and under Kernspec at that time. And me personally was been training for 5-6 years and was going for my first technician, leading up to the first technician. Invited to hold a seminar. You absolutely blew us away, and without a shadow of a doubt, we 100% said, okay, we're going to forget everything we've learned and we're going to start from the first student, how to punch. This is exactly how we need to restart everything we've learned, which was really hard, but it had to be done to learn it properly from the first lesson.
Yeah, you're right. And, I had a lot of respect all the time when I came and did some seminars with new guys I never saw before. And I knew they did some WT or whatever for 6 or 7 or 8 years. Of course, it was hard for me to say, this is not good enough, So, but I respect them because they stood in front of me. They were ready to learn something new and they were ready to change. So it was a respect from me to them, from them to me. Perfect. Was the energy in the room, So, and I could just teach it what I know. And I mean, like you say, if you find out this is better, what do you want to say? I like it more in the other way, even if it is not better. I like it more, or it is more comfortable, or it's easier, or I mean, nothing is easy, especially if you want to become the best of the best. And we had a WingChun which was extremely good, but we had not the mass of the students to say, okay, why do they not like this extremely good system? And the reason was exactly what we spoke about. It is more comfortable to do what you know, to stay with what you know, to not create a conflict with yourself and have to tell it to your students as well. You have to go to your students back and say, okay, guys, I learned something else. It is completely different to what we did, but it is cool. So of course, the half of you shouldn't leave you and say, okay, this guy is crazy. I don't start from the scratch. Let them do it whatever, I leave. And even I had this problem, that people leave and went back to whatever WT because it's more comfortable. They got a degree or they became Sifu.